Hello everybody out there, my name is Kris Nicholson, and right now I'm going to show you a very, very popular keyboard. You guys might know this keyboard. This keyboard over here, this is a Yamaha PSR-400 keyboard. It has 100 voices, 100 rhythms, and I already made a video about this keyboard, but from this keyboard to this one right over here, this is the Yamaha PSR-400. Now, what's the difference between the 500 and the 400? Well, the 500 has the built-in multi-pads, and the 400 has the drum pads. But on top of that, the 500 has 4 pages, and over here it has DPS. The 400 only has 2 pages and no DPS. And if you look all the way to the right hand side of your overall controls, you won't see, this is where your reverb buttons are. And over by the 500, you have your reverb buttons right here. But I'm not going to show you about these two keyboards right over here. You know, the 500 and the 400 is nice, but what if you want a keyboard just like the PSR-500 and the 400, and also you want it smaller, you want to travel around it with it in your car, you know, say for instance you're in practice and you want to have something underneath your arm. The keyboard that I want to show you that is very, very rare from Yamaha is this one right over here. Now, from its bigger brothers, you have this over here is a PSS-51. Now, the PSS-51 is a little brother of the PSR-500 and 400, and I'm going to show you the reason why. You have 61 mid-size keys. These are all 61 keys, but it's mid-size, so smaller than an average 61 key. You have 8 drum pads, just like on the PSR-400. Well, the 400 has 4 drum pads. This one you have 8 of them. So these 8 drum pads could be assignable. Another thing that you have, you don't have multi-pads, but you have sound effect pads. So this was later introduced in the PSR-310 keyboard. Now, neither of the 500 or the 400 has this. You have 8-track sequencer, which you could do step writing. You could do, I think around 12,000 notes on this 8-track sequencer right over here. You have something that is very familiar in the core keyboards, which is a vector synth, and the SY synthesizer keyboards. That means you can layer 4 voices at the same time, and with the vector synth joystick, once you turn it around, you can manipulate those voices. I mean, it's pretty cool. You have 100 voices plus 80 styles. Now on the 500 and 400 you have 100 styles. You have rhythm accompaniment controls, which over here you have fade in and a synchro break. And also you have large, medium, small of how you want your accompaniments. Now, one thing about the 500 and the 400 is that with the transpose button over here, it's usually plus 12, minus 12. This one is plus 12 minus, I'm sorry, plus 24, minus 24. Another thing that you have 2 speakers. So here's your left speaker with the bass booster, and here's your right speaker with the bass booster. You don't have a pedal, and you do not have touch sensitive on this keyboard. This keyboard has C-size batteries, and I tell you this, it's a wonderful tool if you're just going to write in a car. I'm going to show you some of the sounds. You have the same sounds to PSR 500 and 400. So here's the piano sound. Since this has 61 mid-sized keys, I'm trying to play my best not to trip up on it. You know, the keys are a lot smaller than my hands. What if I wanted the organ sound? Orchestra hit. If I want to steel drum sounds. hard for me to play on this keyboard. You have the drum sounds right over here, or you can have the drum sounds right here. And they're laid out the same as the PSR-500 and 400 keyboard.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And remember I was telling you about the plus 24 and minus 24 of the transpose? If I minus that 24 in the transpose, this is what you get. You get the sound effect sounds. Now, that's where your drums start. The sound effects. Now, if I plus 24 of that, you also have sound effects on the other side of the keyboard. Now, that's all the sound effect paths right here. Each and one of these are assignable, so you can assign the sound effects right here if you wanted to. Not only that, say for instance, if I go to a lead sound, you have a piano, which is right here. Let me get my transpose back in order. Now your synced lead, which is number 73. You have your pitch bend wheel. And what if I want to make my wheel a modulation wheel? So my modulation wheel, you have a wheel function on there to make a modulation. You can slow down the tempo, speed up the tempo. Your vector synth. So you can assign 4 of those sounds onto there. Another thing is that the rhythms. Okay, so I'm going to show you the rhythms. You have the same rhythms as the PSR-400 and 500. Some of the instruments are a little bit altered. So I'm going to start with the first rhythm, which is Party Pop. Turn on my accompaniments. And then here we go. Now, what if I wanted a calypso rhythm, just like on the PSR-400 and 500? Same thing. Now, with most of these rhythms, I'm going to show you on a boogie woogie rhythm, is that if you change to a minor chord or a 7th chord, the whole beat changes. That's major. Here's 7th. Here's minor. Same with the variation. Major. 7th chord. And minor. One of my favorite rhythms on here is, say for instance, the ending of the Soul Ballad. Now, this keyboard, it takes, see if I can get the camera to you, it takes C-size batteries. So you have C batteries into this keyboard. Another thing about this keyboard is that, I'm going to show you around the back, I have a MIDI in, MIDI out, and MIDI through headphone jack, which is also going to be a stereo jack, and also you have your power utility. Well, YouTube, thanks for joining me on this adventure on this keyboard. Have a good day.